Sculpting three-dimensional objects in oven-baked clay can seem sometimes like an overwhelming chore, but it's really quite easy. I want to show you how to sculpt a simple little bird like this. And what makes it easy for me is to look at a form and break it down to its simplest shapes. Just a round head, round body with a tail pulled out. I'll show you just how easy it can be. I'm going to roll up some clay into a ball for the body. Now to get that wing look over the top, or this feathered area, I've combined a couple different colors, a gold and a brown, and it's just so easy to mix clays together to get exactly the color that you want. And I'm flattening this out with my fingers into a pancake shape. This just goes over the top of the body. Okay, once you have that on there, then just go ahead and roll it to smooth it. You can see before how it leaves this big bump of an edge, but if you'll go ahead and smooth that in your palms, you can work that right down so it's nice and flat. Just keep smoothing and rolling and reshaping it into a ball. Now at this point, I want to line this up in front of me and give myself, it's really round on the bottom, so I want to give myself kind of a little base to work off of by pushing a flat spot in the body. That way it won't roll around and I have a lot more control. Okay, now right out the back here where the top color meets the body color, I just want to start pinching and pulling that outward. And this is going to make the tail area. Just pinch and pull and pinch and pull. And see how it's making a rather large ridge right here? I just want to keep smoothing that with my fingers. Fingers are some of the best oven-baked clay tools that anyone can come by. Okay, just pull that out, and then I'm going to flatten it slightly. Okay, at this point we're ready to add the head. And in order to get the head right in line with the tail, I'm just going to move the tail away from me so that it's perfectly perpendicular to my own body. I'm going to use a 12mm ball tool, and I'm going to rock it around on top here to make a nice shallow well to receive the head. Here's what it looks like. See how I've got that right up in line with the tail? Okay, that just creates more surface area for the ball that is the head to actually sit in there. Now I've rolled a little ball of clay, and in order to make the beak, I'm just going to pinch and turn. And just work at this slowly. You can always pinch out more clay, but it's hard to put some back. So just work really slowly and gradually until you get just the look you want. And for this tiny bird, I want just the most delicate little beak. Okay? Now I want to make sure and get the head on there in a good position. So when I point the beak like exactly away from the tail and set the head right in that little well that we created. Then I'm just going to line this up visually and make sure that my beak is right in line with the tail. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now we're ready for some texturing. For the texturing, I've chosen to use the scoop end of one of the tools from the Clay Tool Starter Set. To get started with texturing, I like to have a couple reference points so that I kind of get my feathers going in the right direction. So what I do is I line up from the back of the head to the tail, and I make a band of feathers that are sort of in line. I do the same thing just under the beak area, straight down. Then from those reference points, I'll work constantly out from the head around to the tail in a pattern like this. But I'm constantly rocking my tool to make the feathers look more random. I don't want them to look too neat and organized. This will give it sort of a folk look. And then do the same thing around this way, constantly imagining a visual line from the head going around the body to the tail and rocking your tool back and forth. Okay, once my texturing is done, all I need to do is add some eyes. I'm going to use just the tiniest amount of black clay. I don't really need much at all. I find in my work that I usually make things way too big and that I should use only half as much clay as I ever think I need. So with that in mind, I have the tiniest bits of clay. Now to line the eyes up so it looks really nice and neat, what I want to do is visualize a triangle from one side of the head to the beak and then up to the other eye. Now if you don't mind, I want to look at this straight on. But by triangle I mean there's an imaginary line between the two eyes and the beak forming a little triangle. And then once I'm happy with that, I'll just press those into place. Isn't it cute? I like to just make a whole coop full of these and put them all over my house. They're great in formations of 2 or 3 on these cute sticks, or imagine them perched on the side of a plant or a pot. I hope you have fun making some cute little birds.